7:45. Celebrate 30 years of BBC Essex. BBC Essex.
It's BBC Essex at 7:15. Now, how important is someone's looks when it comes to beauty? Can someone be beautiful without being attractive? The answer is a definitive yes, according to a survey carried out by the company Conres for BBC Essex, for BBC Local Radio and the BBC's Faith in the World Week. It asked people to name the two most beautiful qualities in someone. Well, a quarter of men out of 1,000 questions said being physically attractive is one of the two most beautiful qualities in a partner, but less than 1 in 10 women. Physical attraction is something which is hugely important to believers of the world's great faiths. In Islam, the physical attraction of a woman is often hidden. Sidra Naeem is an Essex Muslim teacher.
There's a lot about beauty in the Quran. Beauty is mentioned in lots of different contexts. For example, the beauty of a woman is mentioned, that women are beautiful, and for that reason they need to cover their hair to stop outside relationships outside of marriage, which are forbidden in most faiths. So, for example, things like fornication and adultery are forbidden in Islam and other faiths, and for that reason women are asked to cover their beauty and keep it for their husbands or people who they cannot marry, for fathers, brothers, sons, nephews.
So they can see what a woman looks like?
Yes, because we cannot have any extramarital relationships with them. So for them we could uncover, and at home for our husbands. And what that does is it stops really major sins happening, like fornication, adultery, misuse of women in pornography and things like that.
So for a Muslim woman, how important is beauty to them?
I think beauty is important, and we preserve it to make ourselves feel special. It's not on display for everybody to see. A bit like diamonds, if you think of diamonds, we never leave them out on display for any old person to come and steal, like thieves. We cover them up, put them in a lovely jewellery box. So beauty is sacred, and it's to be used in a modest way so that we're not molested outside, and we preserve it, not for everyone to see, but for specific people to see. So that means it's precious.
And is that why Muslim women dress as they do? The actual form doesn't show the form of your body?
That is correct. So if you look at tight clothes, see-through clothes, colourful, bright clothes, it attracts attention, doesn't it? Men, for example, are attracted by a woman's body. So tight clothes would reveal her body and then can stimulate desires. So in order to stop adultery and fornication happening, those desires need to be stopped. And for that reason, a Orthodox Muslim woman would wear plain black, loose clothes so they don't show her body and not see-through. And plain black so it doesn't attract attention.
You could say that it does attract attention because not all women in particular countries dress as Muslim women do.
I think wearing plain black may attract attention in this country, in a Western society, but for the right reasons, because from what I've seen, men will never look at you in a sexual way when we dress the way we do. So we would, I think, get attention, definitely attract attention that we're looking different, but for the right reasons. And from what I've seen, and I never used to always cover, there's a big difference. So when men saw me when I was covered, it was sister this and sister that. And before that, they'd look at me in a bad way or try and touch me. And that's happened with my own community as well as others. Since I've started to dress like this, I've never been chatted up in public or flirted around with, because they know straight away that's a dress code and there's a boundary there straight away.
So keeping the whole body covered is preserving beauty?
Yes, it is. I think it's preserving beauty for people, special people who we want to see our beauty. And it stops us exploiting, our bodies being exploited by others.
So do you think those that see Muslim women whose faces and heads are covered don't appreciate why they're covering themselves up?
Yes, definitely. I think that when I explain it to people, then they understand. For example, if you look in the Old Testament, it says, "A hair is your beauty and cover it." And that's the reason why nuns cover. Nobody ever thinks, why do nuns cover? They don't get married and they cover. If you look at pictures of Mother Teresa, and she's been in the newspapers lately a lot because they want to make her a saint, you never ever see her with her hair out. And if you think of old English terms like let your hair down, well, basically that is to attract men, isn't it? You let your hair out to attract men, and that's why you're going out to party. If you talk to older ladies, they will tell you that, yes, they used to always go out with a scarf, especially Catholic older women, and never went to church, for example, without a hat on. And if you look at dress codes throughout the centuries, you look at Victorians, you look at Tudors, they always wore long dresses, long arms, and always covered their hair, never went out without covering their hair.
Some Muslim women put a veil across their face as well. That's something that you think should be encouraged?
In the Quran, it tells you to cover your hair. And the reason is to stop you getting molested and stop major sins like rape, fornication, adultery. What some ladies believe is, the very strong orthodox women, that you can still see your face, which is the most beautiful part of you, when you wear just a headscarf. So they then take the extra step and then cover their face as well. And what that means then to them is that it completely stops each and every avenue possible to go towards those sins. And that's the reason why they themselves choose the face veil. And it's their own reason why they want to freedom really of dress.
Muslim women do spend money presumably on skin products and hair products and things like that.
Yes, we definitely do. We're definitely into makeup and hair. We have all female parties a lot. So where we can dress up and we can show our hair and show our full beauty amongst all our friends, that's done very often. And there's a lot of competition in our clothes and everything. But we beautify ourselves for our husbands so that our beauty is preserved in a way not on show for everyone to see.
Do you think that women in the West could learn from the way of life in terms of your dress and keeping your beauty for certain people?
Yes, because I've looked at journals and things actually. It does show that in the Western world, for example, where the Islamic dress is not very high, adultery, fornication is very common amongst the people. There's journals to prove it. Rape, pornography is high as well. Exploitation of women, advertising, they're used for advertising as well, aren't they, women? If you look at countries where the Islamic code of dress is the way I've explained, fornication, adultery is very low. Rape is minimal because there's just nothing there to attract men. So in terms of those kinds of things, also divorce rates are lower because of this kind of code of dress. And then all the other things that you get, you know, all the dysfunctional families and all that kind of stuff, that all goes together with divorce and adultery and fornication. All that is low as well. So I think for a stable environment, I think that it is a good thing. And a lot of the older ladies actually recognise that. A lot of the old grandmothers, when I go to churches and talk about, you know, they always ask me, why do you dress the way you do? They always say, yes, you know, we're shocked at the way our grandchildren dress at the moment. It's like you're just out there just to attract the boys, mini skirts and everything. So I think that yes, I think there's a lot to learn for everyone, really.
That's Sidra Naeem, an Essex Muslim teacher. You heard her mention that Catholic nuns being similar to Muslim women in keeping their physical attraction from the prying eye.